I was centered one wrong way. There we go. Now, you were good with relationship marketing system talk, right? Okay. And I apologize in advance. I had a wicked cold, so my voice may break and chop and go scratchy. I may need to take a drink. So
it's fine. It will sound like the rest of the people in my family. Just sharing this on Facebook real quick. All right. Welcome, everyone, to This Week on Magnet Marketers, where our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. Today, I'm excited to talk about relationship marketing. But before we dig in, just a little introduction. I'm Jessica Phillips with Now Marketing Group and the Relationship Marketing System, here to help you be found, be social, and build relationships, be useful online. And co-host Mike Gingrich, president of Digital Hill, co-founder of the popular apps Waftio, Tab Site, published author, and the founder of a nonprofit, I Give Global, where he lives and breathes the philosophy of always being uncommon and always adding value. Welcome, Mike. How are you?
Thank you, Jessica. That was crisp, clear. That was a wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
I'm doing well. Although, like I said, beforehand, my voice is a little choppy, so it'll last. But forgive me if I break up at times. I will get there, and I will say what I want to say. It just may, sound a little choppy at times.
That's okay. I fully understand. So the topic of relationship marketing is what we're diving into today. And there's lots of questions related to relationships marketing, but it sounds like it's more of a word that's being used more often as it's concerned to marketing, just the whole term relationships in general.
Yep. And I think when I look at you, I see kind of the queen of this and kind of really owning this space. And so I think that for many small businesses, though you dive into it every day and work with your circle of clients and it's common to them, I think for some it's still a new concept. I mean, as you said, it's growing, but I think there's a lot that are still trying to grasp it, understand what it is. So if we're going to go high level, and we're talking to a small business owner who wants to grow their business, sees online as an opportunity, but maybe isn't familiar with the term, how would you explain to them in simple terms to begin to lay that foundation for them?
Yeah, and I think the easiest way to explain things is the simplest terms, which I talk to them and I just ask them literally, like, where do you find your best leads right now? And every single time they all say it's word of mouth referrals. Like, that's where they get their best leads. That's where they always are guaranteed to generate business, is those strong word of mouth referrals. And I say relationship marketing is just that. It's growing those word of mouth referrals, but taking it in a way of bringing it online to grow world of mouth referrals. So you're taking everything that you're doing and you're trying to build more relationships with those you're working with online and taking the same principles that you would do offline and how you treat people, how you're meeting with people, how you're building this rapport with individuals, and just do it in an online environment. Because I think the term media is sometimes confused when you talk like social media on how you're supposed to act online. So if you take it back to the basics of just thinking, it literally is all about relationship building, and take that same word of mouth principles and how you grow that and just bring it online.
Okay, I like that, word of mouth. Okay, so but yes, I mean, absolutely. So from a business perspective, most business owners can understand when it's word of mouth. There's a credibility factor that if someone they trust says, "Hey, you need to talk to Jessica about this. She can help you with that. I use her for my business, and it's a no-brainer. That's who you should go to." Then when you meet with that person, you already have some equity, some trust, and there's probably even a similar value kind of proposition, because if you had a mutual friend, a mutual client, if someone you're working with closely said, "Hey, I trust this person, this is who you should go to," it's likely that if they're close with that person, there's going to be a fit there, that type of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And the same thing with online communities. I mean, if you take how you're building current relationships right now, is usually like you're meeting someone or you're getting to know them, you're going to a leads group or a conference seminar, you're probably going to take some time to ask them some questions about themselves, right? Before you lead in with what you're doing. If you're doing things the right way to really build relationships, you're going to try to analyze, get some questions answered about them, feel like if it's a good fit that you guys could really connect on a certain level. And it's just taking that same approach with online to get to know someone. But then also if there's a friend that's at that chamber leads group or a chamber function, let's just say, and they're with someone already and they do this kind of introduction, or you introduce yourself because of association, it's kind of the same exact principles. So the more that you can kind of put it into perspective that way, from taking it in person and just bringing it online, it's the same exact way with meeting people.
Okay. No, I think that hones it in. I mean, if we've been in business for a while, small business, we see those pictures. We know those events that we've been at, and the handshaking, the greeting that we're doing there, so we can visualize that. So let's now kind of cross that bridge and begin to build it online and to the world. Like what are the foundational, what are the necessary setup points to be able to do this online from your perspective then?
Yeah, so I think the very foundational principles are definitely understanding, one, who do you want to meet? Like, who do you want to build relationships with? You have to know who you're trying to bring in and according to who you can help, right? So then we identify those individuals as buyer personas. We have to know who you can help, what are characteristics around those individuals that they have in common, what does a day in their life look like? What are pain points that they have? What are their goals? What are the nuances in their day that they're dealing with? You really try to get to the heartbeat of who you can help. And then also who you are as a company. Like, what do you offer and how is it better than what your competitors are offering? What makes you stand out? What makes you different? What makes you attractive to others that are going to be finding you online? You have to identify those things about yourself and what your goals are as a business. So let's say your goal is to grow revenue, right? That's usually a lot of brands' goals, but we try to put those into SMART goals. So what are you really trying to grow? What are the products that you're trying to sell? How do you get there? How many people does it take in order to meet that goal? And who are those people? Yeah. Break it down literally so you can see a plan in front of you, right? Instead of just pushing it all out there, because you may have as a business, 4 personas, let's just say, just as a foundational starting point. Some businesses have more, but you can approach each of these personas with the services and what you're trying to sell in a different way, because these individuals are individuals, and they may have a lot of differences in why they would purchase that product from your company. So you have to identify what triggers, conversation starters, and what's going to help answer their questions to know that you are the right fit as the brand to help them overcome that pain point or reach that goal. And when you can do it and break it down in that way, then you can adapt your messaging then to kind of meet in the middle.
Yep. Okay.
But we start there first with just the understanding of who you can attract, who your brand is, where you're trying to go, and then we can talk about how you're going to get there.
You kind of talked about what makes you attractive, what sets you apart. Okay. Can you maybe from a couple different industries, companies that you could work with that you can share about, what was that for them, just to get a sense of that, because I think that too often, somebody could say, I don't want them to go to, well, I'm the cheapest, so
Yes,
so
please don't.
why don't we address that, and maybe you can give an example then.
Sure. It may be something just as small as you go an extra step in your process of creating your product. Maybe it's the simple little notes that you put into, your packaging. It could be something very small that makes a big difference. Like, I'll use an example. This one cafe that it was actually a client of a client that we were working with them on, and got introduced, and they were talking about their cafe, and they were trying to target these corporations for these box lunches, that kind of thing. And they were not really telling their full story, but they employ a lot of individuals with developmental disabilities. And, that was something, just the core of what they do, that they were changing people's lives. They were more than a cafe. They were, life changers that just happened to sell food, right? So you look and go back to, I love the video Simon Sinek, Start With Why, what the why is of your company. And that is what will help tell your story of what really makes you different. It could be your customer service, but you have to know what it is about your customer service. It could be, a proprietary product, but you don't want to rely on that, because if that product becomes obsolete, then the business model is obsolete, right? So it has to really come down to something that's more, I would say, matters of the heart, I guess. So it's got to make people care about your brand in a certain way that they almost can't articulate, but they can understand who you are as a company and as a person and as an organization that is attractive to them. Right. So you have to kind of put some adjectives. There's some of the best ways of describing it, adjectives that are associated with your company that really helps people to understand it. So it could be, you are innovative, you are creative, you are, think outside the box, you're efficient, whatever that is. Put those adjectives together, and then also write out your mission or your why, of what makes you really stand out amongst your competitors. So I always use the example of like insurance agencies. A lot of them sell the same exact type of insurance. So you really have to have something different about your brand, so it's not compared upon price. It has to be something that stands out uniquely different.
Yes. Okay. So in that case, it could be the customer service, the personal attention, the mission of the insurance agency. Maybe they're doing things in the community, or those types of things, or some added values which that insurance company could latch onto, that says, this helps set us apart. This is what makes us unique.
Exactly. One of the insurance companies we work with, that's what it was. They got really involved in the community. They said, we are the members of our community that understand the needs of our community. And their why was to make a better community, So they really got involved with their marketing then, with doing things within the community that showed that, and highlighted that in another way. And then they just happened to sell insurance, but a lot of the things that they did in marketing initiatives had nothing to really do with insurance.
Okay. So, I mean, that's our core now. We're talking about taking a look at some of your key differentiators, and then also who that fits, who your target ideal client is, and identifying, you call that a persona, so identifying those pieces. So that's doing some foundational work, some things that you build upon then. So what's the next layer up then that we're going to build upon as we obviously seek to ultimately grow business there?
Yep. Then you want to set up your foundation, which is your home base. You want to make sure your home base is ready to go. Your home base is your website. So you want to make sure that your website home base has everything that you need and your customers need readily available, that fully articulates all the things that you just created. So they should have a feeling, one, about who you are from going to your homepage and landing there. It should have answers to the questions that your personas specifically would want to know about your brand. It should have the resources there available to them, and make it very incredibly stupid easy to do business with you. Not only to do business with you, but to stay connected to you. One thing that's really different about relationship marketing versus any other kind of marketing is that you're looking for that long-term fit. You're looking for someone that is going to be with you for a very long time in a relationship with you. And that's not only just going to be with you, they're going to insist that their friends and family do business with you because they feel that connected to you. It's not, hey, here's what we have for sale. Here's what we have for sale. It's, hey, here's how we can help you. Here's how we can help you. So everything about your website should scream, I'm here to serve you and to start building this relationship with you versus, hey, here's all my stuff I have to buy.
Okay. So website is the foundation, and then again, thinking about the long-term relationship, not just a single transaction in this case.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, studies have shown that you know, the ability to have it costs so much more to obtain a new customer, new client, as opposed to retain and maintain existing ones, so that there's a value in that as well, just of cost of acquisition and you know, life cycle opportunities to just continue to do business with a client base that is satisfied.
Amen. Jay Baer has a book, the Hug Your Haters book, and he had mentioned in a presentation the amount of money that companies spend to attract new customers versus the amount of money, literally none, that they spend to keep their current customers.
Right.
So it's really a mind shift now of saying, what can we do to keep our current customers here? Because they are the ones that are going to be activating for us. And they have so many more choices out there readily available with a touch of a button on their phone to get to the next person that can potentially do what we do. We are blessed to have their relationship with us. How are we going to keep this relationship? Because every relationship requires work on both ends. So it's just that's shifting too. So even after you get them, investing to keep them with you.
Okay. So website is the foundation. Now, is there any more you want to say about that? I mean, that's the foundational standpoint, but let's get very practical about it. So from a strategy perspective, what is your input to a small business on what they need to do with their website on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so it can't be a one and done. Your website's never done. I hate to break it to you, but your website can be ready to show off, right? And by the way, if you're spending marketing dollars out there right now and you don't have your home base ready, stop. Spend the marketing dollars to rebuild your home base before you spend money trying to draw people to it if it's not ready.
Right.
But yeah, so on your website, you should have a couple things. One, it should be incredibly easy to do business with you. It should be incredibly easy to find out what you do, who you help, how to get in contact with you, but then also having ways to stay in touch with you. So you want to be trying to capture an email address from the individual that's on your website, not just asking for the email address, but giving something of value in exchange for that email address. So you can start building that rapport, as you mentioned in the beginning, the know, like, and trust. That all stems from, giving things of value where they can learn a lot more about you. So it could be just simply, giving them a guidebook to whatever. Let's just say they're interested in social media and I'm going to give them the top 19 things successful companies do on social media, and here's how to do it. I'm going to give you this guide for free. It has nothing to do about us, Now Marketing Group, at all. It's just literally giving you helpful information in exchange for your email address. Well, once I give that to you, then you're going to be that person's hooked on you and the business. They're like, wow, this is good stuff. I want more, this is good free. I can't believe they're giving this stuff away, and that's what you want them to feel like. I'm going to use Jay Baer's quote again, make your marketing so good on your website and what you're giving away that people would be willing to pay for it. And that's literally that's how you know that you have good things to offer on your website.
Got it. Yep. Okay. So we've built our foundation, we've got that website out there. We understand who our ideal client's target is. We understand what is our differentiators, and what is the next layer of targeting the world, getting out there?
Yeah, so now that you're collecting the email addresses, you have your guides. We're just going to assume those are all ready to go on your website. There is a little detail planning that goes into creating the guides or what you're giving away in exchange for an email address, because you do want to have lists of emails segmented according to who they are and what personas that they are. And there should be layers that separate from a lead to a marketing qualified to a sales qualified lead. I don't know that we'd have enough time to go through all of that right now, but there is a process of segmenting those leads and how you give them information. But when you're collecting email addresses, you need to have a plan then on what kind of content you are going to be sending then ongoing, and what kinds of questions that you want to answer for that individual. So make sure that you're also planning out your content at the same time that you're launching your website. So we recommend, minimum, let's just say twice a month. I'll give people a break, but I would love for people to have it at least once a week for content to be on as a blog, and then once a month at least for an email drip campaign to be released to those that are sending you and giving you their email addresses. We also need to talk about that after that, how people are going to be attracted to the website, because it's not, build it and they will come. You have to decide, how are we going to get people to this site now that it's here, to even know that this resource is here? And that's where things like social media and those relationship activators can be, set up and enabled to then draw people back to your home base. So then you decide where your persona is hanging out, where are they spending their time, and what kinds of conversations would they want to have with us on those particular platforms. So we identify the social media profiles next.
Yep. Okay. And with social media profiles, I mean, that's a wonderful opportunity, and there's possibilities there. There is work involved there. And what do you want to say about that from a standpoint of choosing where and then choosing how? Maybe those are the two terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where will determine on who your persona is, one, two, how much time you have, because you definitely don't want to set up camp for anywhere that you're not going to visit. So you make sure you have time that you have allocated to be at different social channels. I don't think that you can have too many, but I do think you can have not enough time. So, I mean, I don't recommend that you set up on all of them, of course, but let's just say if you did, you would just need definitely enough time to manage all of them. So the social platforms know, like I said, who your audience is, what you're trying to accomplish, going back to your goals, and then you can decide what kinds of messaging that you're going to put out onto those social platforms. So then we recommend that they have, a 30-day calendar, social media calendar, that's going to say, here's what we plan to post, social media content post for that social platform each and every day. And then we decide from there, what are they going to do in addition to that? Because posting is just 1% of what you need to be doing on social media. The rest of it is really spending time engaging, searching out other profiles that, that your business can get engaged with, and then engaging with their content, sharing it, answering questions back and forth, responding, participating, in order to drive the traffic back to your site.
Got it. All right. So you kind of building this process, and we've got these things going here. So maybe we're out on social media, and do you want to talk any more about how we differentiate ourselves on social media, or how we carry through what we've laid as our foundation into social media for our team?
Yeah, so different types of accounts, you're really going to notice the ones that are trying to build relationships and the ones that aren't. So as you're planning your content, some of the key things with doing relationship marketing strategies on social is that you're going to be more of yourself. You're going to be more human, more laid back. You're going to be more conversational in your approach. You're going to definitely have branding that's going to tie back to you. And people should be able to read, your last 3 to 4 social media posts and have an idea of who you are and kind of what you're about. If they can't, then that's where you've kind of missed the mark a little bit. But your content is going to be not just the link and the title of what you're sharing. It's going to be, conversational in its tone. It's going to be mentioning others. It's going to be collaborative in its approach. It's going to be, sharing others stuff. It's going to maybe include a lot of video because you're being more human. It's going to include a lot of photos. It's going to include more of your team. If you have a team, showing them. It's going to include celebrating the wins online and the birthdays and the anniversaries, that kind of stuff. So people should really be able to tell kind of the heartbeat of who you are. But then you're also going to be doing other things that are, with your social to keep people engaged. You could run like contests, for example, or you can do, ads for some of your social media content that's driving traffic back to your website. We always review with clients too, like you need to have some kind of ad budget, even if it's $1 a day, to drive traffic back. And then measuring the results of what's working and kind of following through with any tweaks that need to happen. This is a very, I would say, you have to move with this marketing type of plan. You have to be able to be agile and change it up, because let's just say the next big thing is the mannequin challenge. Not to say you're jumping on bandwagons or anything, but let's just say, let's say Instagram, stories. Yeah, let's do it now. Instagram stories is a thing. You have to be able to mix that into your plan, right?
Right.
So you have to follow through with, see what's working, see what's not, see what needs tweaked, but then also understanding the people that are filling out like your emails or for your email list and that are also on your social, getting a full picture of who they are so you can really have a educated conversation with them then online. So really getting to know the people that you're engaging with and having a conversation with.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay, so that's kind of an overview. What would you want to say to someone who's thinking about that but says, I don't know. So what is the alternative? What's the flip side of this that you're seeing today, and what is kind of the outcome that ends up with that type of approach?
So the alternative to relationship marketing, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What do you see out there?
I mean, you can definitely do the buy one, get ones and, the quick flash sales and all that. But I mean, it's just not sticky. You're always going to be spinning your wheels trying to get the next thing, right? And it's just customers don't stick that way. And if you're lowering your price to try to win a sale, then your price is never worth more than what you just lowered it to. People they understand that there's many options out there and that they don't have to be committed to any company. So you have to earn their business, and people are going to talk online and they're going to share opinions with their friends and family and coworkers about a different brand. So you just have to honestly just do good business. That's the whole premise of it, is just doing good business and being good at what you do in order to have the relationship with others. So if someone would badmouth you, no one else would believe it, right? They would be like, no way, I've dealt with that company and yada, yada. You're trying to drive clients in from other people being your marketing advocates using relationship marketing. And if you're not focusing on that and you're just trying to do that flash sale, you may get some business from that. It's just not sticky. It's not something that's going to stay. We've worked with clients
You're only as good as your next flash sale and your next flash sale.
Exactly.
Next
Yeah.
flash
Like, how are you going to beat yourself? How are you going to beat yourself? You know, from that, what's next? Oh, that's nothing. So-and-so just did this down the road, you know, $5 cheaper, whatever it is, you know, and then you're just cutting yourself short too, when you do that kind of stuff as a business. Cause you know, you have to, people just want quality. They want quality products, you know, with good customer service, and the
Yep.
experience that they get while they're dealing with your business is the most important piece of the puzzle.
Yep. And that's what, by that, because some people say, you know, well, that takes time, but it's that investment that gets them going word of mouth. So in actuality, me taking care of you well,
it
is
saves them time.
investing in your friends connecting to the future.
Yeah, I've used this whole premise before I even knew what it was, right? Relationship marketing. I've never had a salesperson and to kind of do the same thing with our clients. Like, your online marketing should be your sales person for you. It should be your PR person for you. It should be your, you know, relations for you. And what you're doing up front is going to be time and work. I'm not going to lie there. I mean, it does take time to build this because you're building a systematic approach, and a lot of businesses don't have that in place, unfortunately. You know, they don't have, how do customers really find us and buy from us? They're like, well, it could be this, but I don't know. I'm not tracking, right? This way, you know, we have everything, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 in place in order for them to find us online, you know, answer their questions, buy from us, come back, get other answers, refer friends, you know, us track our results, and rinse and repeat. And then, so it's saving you time there from the sales perspective, but then it's also saving you time because your other clients and people that are online are marketing for you because they've got to know your business. I can't tell you how many times I've been tagged in posts when people are like, does anybody know someone that does X, right? Like, do you know someone that does marketing or social media? And they tag you because they know of you. You're top of mind to them. You're hanging out online, and now they can directly send leads your way. That's how it works, and it'll save time later.
And I like what you said, because that can be also, you talk about the ability to measure that, and because that can be a barrier that some who are newer to this see, particularly about social media, and they say, you know, how do you measure that? And so maybe you want to just address some ways that you can get some measurements on that return.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, I'm working with a client right now, and we're doing, you know, some Facebook ads, and she has a specific campaign that she's trying to get people to sign into. So we ran a campaign. We could see exactly who, you know, clicked on the ad, downloaded, signed up, and she knows how many people, you know, purchased from her. So you can literally see the traction there. Where if you're, I mean, I'm not trying to talk bad about like billboards or television or anything like that, but outbound marketing tactics, you can't measure that unless somebody specifically told you that they went there. This, you can see how many people seen it, how many people acted on it, and how many customers did we get as a result of it. There's complete transparency. I think I've shared this before, but we do reporting for a lot of the grant projects that we get, and every single month from some of the outbound marketers, the television company, the radio, and the billboard companies, I get the same exact numbers every single month. And it's all just a guesstimation that 3 people must read every newspaper, and a guesstimation that 4 people must drive by, you know, the billboard 2 times a day, you know, on the way to, and it's all this just inflated impressions that mean nothing. Like, what happened? You know, did they pull up their phone and call right then when they seen them? You can't measure that in an effective way. I think all those things are great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it definitely helps top of mind, but this is the one thing that you can't measure. So when I hear that about social media, like, how do we know we can't measure it? It blows my mind, because I'm like, this is the one thing you can measure, you know, like you can measure anything online. So
yep.
I think it definitely works.
Now, I know that, you know, for some people, and this still may feel like, wow, that's a lot. How do I get a hold of that, and how do I kind of break that down? And so, I mean, that's an area where you've spent time and really tried to develop a tool and a site and things that are available to them. So let's dive into that. I'm trying to keep going. There's so much to talk about, but I know I've got a time limit as well.
No, you're good. So yeah, I did develop what's called the relationship marketing system, and it's relationshipmarketingsystem.com. And it literally is just walking you through each and every step that we talked about. So step one is all about planning. We walk you through how to get through the planning process and some worksheets there to help you identify your personas. I actually have a couple on my desk. So you're literally like filling in the blanks of who your personas are, and
there's some materials to download right there. Is that the concept?
Yeah. So materials to download. So you identify your personas, you fill it out, type it out, whatever. And then same thing with your brand and your goals. And then we have like your signature at the end of your goals, so you can keep on track and hold yourself accountable. And then we have step two, which is planning. So it's walking you through what should be on your website, how to write blogs, what you should know about search engine optimization, things like that. Social media how-tos to get it started for the engagement piece, which is step number 3. And then we also focus on converting and then delighting your audience and then measuring results. So some creative ideas on how to delight. That's where you're spending the money, keeping your customers instead of trying to spend all your money to attract new ones. And then the measuring results, like how can you understand the analytics, what it means, and how do you know if you need to make a shift? So yeah, I created that program almost 2 years ago. We've made some tweaks to it, continue to always evolve that site as well with new things, and have some free trials on there as well, where you can check out some of the material, see what it's like, and go from there.
Okay, so that's kind of a self-help approach, right? I mean, so they would kind of contain, they have the materials they would need there, and and obviously there's reading materials there. Are there other types of media that you have with that?
Yeah, there's all videos.
Excellent.
There's videos, articles, so downloads like this, but there's videos to go with every download. And then there's also blogs that are related to each of those sections that you can read. And then some additional videos, like things like we've done, I've linked out to our YouTube channel, so they can go back and maybe reference a video like this, let's just say. So some of that we've done on magnet marketers, that kind of thing. And then other influential blog sites that are kind of just additional resource material. I've just said, hey, check out this person if you're looking to get more involved with Instagram. This is who you need to learn from. If you want to really dive into Facebook ads, you need to follow this guy, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it is very much hands-on with the guides for yourself. But then, there's a community of individuals there that you can, reach out to and share. If you want to be put into that Facebook group where you can, collaborate together. And then we're also making a section in there specifically for the employer that's hiring someone to do their social media for them, but they have no idea what to tell them to do, right? So like, I know I need somebody to do it, but I don't know how to do it myself. So how can I tell them to do their job, right? And so it's a kind of a training for their new hire.
Yep. Okay. So, and that's kind of for the do-it-yourselfer, and like you said, there's no reason not to try it because there's a 1-week free trial, right? So they can go in and take a look at the different pieces there, correct? Yep. And then there's the ability to go in and sign up, get a 1-year, 365-day access to it for everything that they would need there. Now, again, at the next level, that's kind of the, hey, I want to take care of myself, but the next level is basically kind of reaching out and having a team like yourself, with Now Marketing, come alongside them and work with them on the process.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we do consulting. There's a lot of brands that we've just worked with and just help them get that set up because they have the team there, but they know that what they were doing. And I actually just got a call yesterday for this. And they knew what they were doing didn't feel right, but that's the only way that they knew how to do it, right? It was just, let's push these messages out. Say we just had a book launch, and tell everyone about it. And they knew that something was missing. Their story wasn't being told. So they called us and we're just putting together a plan just to get the foundation set up and let them, go on their way, because they knew how to do some of the social elements, but just not the foundational parts of getting it set up.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so all of this, the whole concept there is really kind of what drives magnet marketers here that we like to talk about too. It's just like be a magnet versus a bullhorn. A magnet is, when they're drawn to you because of what has preceded you, of the information that you have shared, the compliments that others have said, hey, go to this person, that type of thing. So that's what, and we're talking about particularly from a digital standpoint. How do you scale that online?
Exactly. Word of mouth to world of mouth, but that's exactly what it is. If you ever feel like you're yelling at someone, and that's what we've always been told, that's what marketing is. You create creative ads and you just blast it out there as much as you can. That's what we've always been told, but that's what's not working anymore. People tune that out. They DVR over it. They, Pandora it, whatever it is. They're trying to tune out those messages, and this is one way of doing it, just to grow that word of mouth referral.
Excellent. So I'm gonna wind us down here. Is there anything that you feel like you'd want to make sure you said but you didn't say, or any just final recaps?
I'm sure I'll think about it as soon as we turn off the video, but no, I think just to tee off what you said, I mean, honestly, it is just being a magnet versus being a bullhorn. And I think HubSpot has a lot of good materials too on inbound marketing. So that's one thing I did want to say. Inbound marketing and relationship marketing are very similar. But inbound marketing is just the system of how you organize things, whereas relationship marketing is using that system, but then adding in some more human style to grow the repeat referral business at the end of the day.
Good. I like that distinction. Very helpful. Yeah. All right.
Thanks for your time today, Mike.
No, this is good. I think that it's valuable. Just kind of we got to come back and that's the big picture, but also some details on how those pieces fit together. And I think that's a valuable piece. So I think the takeaway, if I'm listening to this and I'm a small business or a marketer, you have to take a look at those key points. Do I know what my differentiator is? Do I know who my ideal target is that those personas, so if you started there, is your home base, your website in place, intact, and how's your social media along with that? And so are you measuring some pieces? So hopefully we're given they can think through those basic components and say, what do I need to look at now?
Exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hope you get feeling better.
Today was better than I have been. So I'm on the right track.
Good. 'Tis the season for that stuff. Well, I wish you have a good week, and I look forward to talking with you next week. I look forward for all of you joining us back here next week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Magnet Marketers. Our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn.
Thank you. Take care, folks. Peace out.
See you, Mike. Bye.